A bit of housekeeping before we get underway. For the first time ever, one of our retirement get-togethers is being streamed live on the web. So if you are here with someone you shouldn't be sitting with, I'm just saying, you might want to think, cameras up here, you know, like these two, I don't know. No. For those who may be here as guests of ours, welcome. If you don't know who I am, I'm Pat Keating. I'm the general manager of WFSU. That's right, Diane. That's who I am. And welcome. It's always nice to see so many friends, WFSU alumni, and we're happy that you're here. As well as some of our radio folks who heard there was free food. So they're here. They don't miss those things. So thanks to Suzanne and Tasha and Kim and Dennison and Paul and the crew, and Tony is around here somewhere for putting on, there he is, sitting next to someone he shouldn't be sitting next to. Appreciate all of your work. The place looks great today. I think the way this is supposed to work is that I'm supposed to say a couple of things, and then I'm going to invite anybody who's here who wants to come up and say whatever they want to say. And then I think we're going to give Mike the last at-bat so that he can deny the things that we've said. He can defend himself or hurl a few accusations of his own. We are here to wish Mike well on the occasion of his retirement.
Let's make him sit up there.
Make him sit up here. Well,
We have a chair for you.
you know,
Light.
I've been working with him for I don't know how many decades, and I'm not sure I've ever been able to make him do anything, but here he comes. So this is good.
You can make all of them do something.
Yeah.
Stand up, turn around, and look at the camera. And wave.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This theme song.
Yeah, that's right. All of y'all have to stand up and look up into that general corner and wave to all the people who are watching this on the web. So everybody stand up, turn around, and look.
Okay, I had fairly good control of this until Suzanne suggested we bring Mike up, so this is going well. Anyway, I think the reason we're here is to help Mike celebrate his retirement. And I know that I had this feeling, and maybe some of you do too, that you are concerned that you will no longer be able to experience Mike's soft-spoken, bubbly enthusiasm for the things that we do here. But if you're worried about that, I have some good news. Just today, what a coincidence, I talked to a publisher, and Mike has signed a book deal. The publisher wouldn't tell me a lot about the book, but the goal there is to capture some of that bubbly optimism that is Mike Dunn. And so he did tell me a couple of names of some of the chapters that I thought I would share with you. One chapter is apparently going to be called, "We Don't Have the Money, People, or Equipment to Do That."
But we'll do it anyway.
Well, we'll get it done somehow. Another one is probably a little more seasonal, and thank you. Okay. That one's called, "It's Going to Miss Cuba, come straight up the Gulf, and by the time it gets here, it'll be a Category 5. There's another one he told me about that it's probably the first chapter of the book, so it'll set the tone for the whole book. It's going to be called "Every Silver Lining Has a Cloud." So, look for that. He did give me the working title of the book, which probably some of you have already guessed, the book is going to be called If You Were Smart. But,
And the subtitle, you wouldn't be in television.
well, okay. You wouldn't have spent your life the way I did. Yeah. I noticed one of the comments, I think it was Rickley Stone, who talked about time and how funny time is. And that's the same feeling I was having about our relationship that goes back for I don't even know how many years. Maybe you do. 1981, he spoke at my grade school. But in some ways, it seems like it was yesterday when I was talking to him about leaving Beaufort, South Carolina, and coming here. And but in another way, it seems like yesterday. So I don't know how well I'm dealing with the past, but I'm having an even more difficult time dealing with the future. It's really almost impossible for me to wrap my mind around a WFSU that doesn't include a Mike Dunn. So much of what this station has done locally for so many years has Mike's fingerprints on it, and our entire viewing community is going to miss him, even though they don't know it yet. And he and I have had so many adventures together. I was just going over some of them in my mind the last few days. So many productions here and in remote trucks all over the country. I don't know if everybody knows that Mike and I worked on the very first MTV Spring Break in Daytona. Complete and total chaos. A lot of people from New York who had no idea what they were doing. We've done basketball, football games, every sport you can imagine. I think back to the very, very early days of the Florida Channel. I think about the 2000 presidential election, Mike's relationship with the Supreme Court, and particularly Craig Waters there. Mike's one of the few people that witnessed another historic moment that most people will never know about, and that is when the Secret Service and the FDLE were trying to convince Craig Waters to wear a bulletproof vest before he went out and announced what would be the result of the 2000 presidential election, and Craig didn't want to do that. So there's all those memories about work stuff. There's other kind of life events, his wedding, the birth of his daughter, when he became ill, more importantly, when he recovered from that. Mike has also, as many of you know, taught hundreds and hundreds of students who have gone on to work at every television network in the country, including a couple of poor groups that were taught by both he and I in the same class. Some of them will be on parole soon, I'm sure. It's been a while, they should be out. But his influence really, because of that, has reached all over the country. It's really quite amazing. So, Mike, congratulations on behalf of the viewers of WFSU, those hundreds of students, probably hundreds of employees that he has supervised and will always remember his gentle touch. Okay. And one personal note, if I may. I want to thank you for being my friend all this time, my partner in crime occasionally, and the best production manager I could have ever hoped for. We all wish you a very, very long and very happy retirement. Here's to Mike Dunn. And now, we promised we would let other folks come up and have their say. Have any volunteers? Oh. Very shy, a lot of shy people here. Come up, tell everyone who you are and what your grievance is.
I'm Millie Markey, and I go way back with Mike and Pat. And I'll try and read this. I just thought I'd write a little something for Mike without crying. It's not sad, but it's just the memories. An Ode to Mike Dunn by Millie Wesson Markey. Back in '86, when I was young and spry, I took a TV class at WFSU with Mike that, unbeknownst to me, would change the course of my life. He came in class one night and asked for volunteers to work for a newly started company for one of his old peers. That company was called MTV, and we all quickly raised our hands, but Mike was smart and chose the best of us. With that, my future was changed by this one and only awesome man. He put my name on the list of kids to work for Daytona for spring break, and this recommendation from my friend was all that it would take. I've had more memories and experiences than we have time to share, but Mike, I owe you big time for that awesome experiences were brought to bear. It took me places I would never have been, like the MTV Movie Awards, the Super Bowls, the Video Music Awards, Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction moment, and so many more. And so for that, I'd like to say thank you to the man I count as my friend. You also gave me the chance to work with you and Charles and Mark on the Florida Lottery as it came here to embark. We've also worked on 1800 Seconds, PBS Auctions, Body Electric, and those Firehouse Quickies, and have had a lot of laughs as we helped to make TV history. So for you, my mentor, my teacher, my friend, and at one time my boss, go enjoy your retirement and know that you'll be remembered with much kindness and many, many warm thoughts. Millie.
Okay.
Very nice. Millie always was a tough act to follow, but here's someone else. Step right up here, young lady.
I'm still having a hard time imagining you, Millie, and Mike on spring break. That's some images I'm not, hard to wrap my head around that one. Oh, yeah. I think we all had to write, Mikey, because we wanted to say what was in our hearts and what we were thinking and didn't want to get distracted, so I did the same thing. Dear Mikey, we've worked together for a long, long time, longer than a lot of the people who are in this room have been alive. And by and large, it's been a wonderful few decades. I know that I have driven you crazy upon occasion, or maybe more than on occasion. In fact, it's probably only been occasional that I haven't driven you crazy. And I get that, and I own that. I really hope that the old adage is true, that we only remember the good times. At least in my case, I hope that's the path you take. What I really want you to know is one thing, and that is something that I have told folks on the 9th floor many, many times. I am certain that I am not alone in thinking this, and that is, when you're in the trenches of any production, no matter what type of event or program it is, there is no better person to have on your team than you. When you have Mike Dunn in your corner as your ally, as your partner, you are safe and things are good. You are extremely smart, you work hard, and you have given your all to this place. And we have all in this room and in this community benefited from your efforts. I wrote all this down because I've been thinking about it for a long time, and as I told you at the holiday party, I'm having a really hard time with the idea of a Dunless WFSU. So, in representing your TFC peeps, thank you for all you have done. We will miss you, miss your daily presence in our lives, but we will carry the lessons we have learned with you always. Learned from you with us always. And if you are smart, Mike Dunn, you will always remember and know and feel good about what you mean to us all and about all that you have accomplished. And one more tiny thing. Please give us a cut rate when we call you as a consultant in the future. Big hugs to you, Beth and the TFC team.
Cheers.
Come on. You got to watch everybody in this place.
I learned from the
Uh-oh.
best.
A stranger staggers out of the crowd. Apparently he has nothing to say.
No, he doesn't have anything to say. He wants something.
He wants something. Oh, okay, that sounds better. Do we have anyone else who does have something to say?
Yeah, I do. I'll speak now.
All right, well, while you're coming up, I will assure you that the web stream is working. We have greetings and congratulations from an Aaron Cleghorn. And hello, Aaron. And a Russ McGonigal. Hello, Mick. Okay.
John's in the back. John, look up there in the corner and say hi to Russ.
Paul?
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Paul Dam, and I've been working for Mike Dunn for about 16 years. And when I came to WFSU, I had quite a bit of technical experience, but what Mike Dunn has really taught me or helped me with is character, with honesty, with punctuality and attendance, and tenacity. So these are some of the things that I've learned from Mike over the years, and I will miss him. And, you know, it's good to keep a little bit of a distance from your boss and a little bit of insulation, but I'm very glad now that since you're not my boss anymore, we can hang out. So, and I won't get away from Mike Dunn or his, you know, if I were you, this is what I would do, because luckily I see him when we work the games, and we work with Mark Roden, we do games at Summer Productions, and he will still continue to have an influence on the students here at Florida State University for ages to come. And I do find myself, you know, sometimes when you're addressing people, you hear these words coming out. I hear Mike's words coming out, or I hear Charles's words coming out. So, you know, everything you've taught me will stay with me for a long time, and thank you very much. We do have some presents for you, if you want to begin, or would you like to speak first?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I just have a couple of things.
Yeah. Yes. What is it? How can we help you?
Which way?
Oh, yeah. We'll go ahead.
Okay. I had to write mine down because I cry a lot. So there's no other way for me to say this, but I'm going to miss you. And it's not just because I won't have anybody to eat lunch with anymore, or because I'll be the only Gator left at the station. But as you know, I've worked a lot of places over the years, and I speak with authority when I say that you are the best boss I've ever worked with. You've done so much for me over the years, and I've always been there, and you've always been there when I needed advice or a friend to listen. Plus, your example of leadership is the kind I hope to follow. In some ways, I already have, because like Paul said, I've already caught myself saying things like, yeah, well, if they were smart. And I've already done that within the last 2 weeks, at least twice. And I will really remember, though, is that you have always balanced kindness and compassion with strength and toughness. And Colonel, you are a legend. Thank you for supporting me, guiding me, and being my friend these past 11 years. I hope that even though you are retiring, our friendship will continue for a very long time. I wish you a wonderful adventure.
Do I get a hug too?
Yeah, you get a hug too. You get a hug too.
Okay, just update. Why do we do this stuff? Aaron says thank you. Okay, no word from McGonigal. So we'll wait on that. Anybody else? Oh, look at this. Good.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Stone, and I know many of you because I'm officially a retread, because like many of you, I've been here once before in another life. A little place called Dodd Hall up the hill, where I started when I was much the age of a lot of the younger staff here. But I was fortunate that a lot of people I met in those early years, I've been blessed because I've gotten to know them all my life. Even when I did dumb things like, I don't know, leave Tallahassee and go back home to Miami for 10 years. And all of a sudden, wow, my friends were still there. I'd call people like Mike Dunn. What do you think about this? Yeah, that's pretty crappy. Tell those people in Dade County not to do that. They did it anyway. Long story short, a lot of you know Mike Dunn for the work he's done here with the station. And I was very blessed. One of my other forays, I decided to go off and decide to go to the other side of the camera and wound up becoming the emergency management spokesman. In about 2004, 2005, we decided to have 8 storms in a row. Well, one thing we learned about emergency management, which was a lot like television production, you're good as the people you have around you, and you always want to have a good crew. So when things started to roll and we needed help, I knew where I was going to turn. I called my good friend. I said, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and I need somebody to get my back so I can wrangle state officials, get them together, but when we throw them out there on the air, it's got to work. So I turned to my friend Mike Dunn, and he was always there. To give you an idea, we got into this rolling thunder, and we had to do a lot of training. He was still training, but we were training folks that used to say, well, I want to start a press conference at 9 o'clock, but they would like to slide it to the right, to the left. We kind of had to work on it and explain to them that 0900 was when you wanted to go. Luckily, they learned, and I think because of that, the state did really well on many levels. But I could not have done it to have someone by my back, by Mike Dunn, and many of you that are out here too, because I can recount on my time where I would get a call from the state warning point saying, this just happened. I can count within seconds. The next call was him going, Mike Stone, it's Mike Dunn. What time do you want me there? And how many hours of satellite time do you want me to order? And I think it really made a difference. And it made a difference for a lot of Floridians. And it meant a lot to me. And as a guy that I could always go to, and I value the friendship and working together as colleagues. And gonna miss you, but I know we'll see you down the road, buddy. Thanks, Mike.
More updates. Erin has sent an amendment to her earlier message that says, that thank you was for you, dummy. All right, I misunderstood. And McGonigal has surfaced again, and his question is, am I the only one drinking? So, I don't know. I'm not sure. But this is for you, Russ. Kim? No. Sarah. Sorry.
I'm up here. I can't believe you're retiring before me. I was here when he walked in the door, and I'm here when he walks out. And I'll still be here for quite a while after. Part of that is because of a misguided 8 years in Oklahoma. And when I came back, I was looking for a job, and I came to see Mike. And he said, I only have one thing open right now. It's traffic. Can you do that? And I said, sure, I can do that. I had no idea what he was asking me to do. But I appreciate his faith that I could learn how to do it. And so now, 25 years later, I'm still doing it. And I'm actually pretty good at it now. Thank you. Mike has been in my area for about 15 years. We've moved offices around a lot for a while, and about 15 years ago, I landed next to Mike's office. And Mike has been the background music of my days. I always heard him talking through the cement walls. He was on the phone or he had people in his office. I always knew he was there. And when he took off at winter break and didn't come back, it was very quiet. I didn't quite know what was wrong. And then I realized that the highway had moved. It was no longer outside my door. So he's been the music in my life for a long time, and I'm gonna miss him.
he's going to retire and glue that to his hand. And that's how he's going to live out his days, connecting to the rest of the world.
I have nothing further to report.
Hi, Mike. We've missed you around here. I have to share, I'm Kim Kelling. I have to share a story about Mike. We have a lot of children that come into the building from time to time because we, PBS Kids, we have those mascots up in the lobby, and we do tours. So at one point, we had a group of preschoolers here, and Mike was touring them around. There is nothing like watching Mike talking to preschoolers. Because he talked to them just like he talks to anybody else. There is really no difference. And you watch them trying to figure out what he was saying, but he was teaching them the whole history of broadcasting. And he walked them through, and they're all looking up at him. And it was really just an amazing sight. I actually took a picture of it because it was so, they were paying attention. He held their attention like he has held so many of ours. And I can't really imagine what it's going to be like without you here, because you have been our moral compass. You really have. You are if you want the truth, you go to Mike. And he always will sit down and take time and talk to you about it. He has been a support to me in so many ways. I will really miss you. And I can't wait to see you out on your adventures. And because we have Facebook together, we will always be connected.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, I think I walked through that Kim was just describing, right? As Mike was wrapping up one section of it and said to these tiny little kids, and that's why most of the stations east of the Mississippi start with W, and most of the ones west of the Mississippi start with a K. And they're all like, okay. It's a great moment. Last call, Russ. All right. I promised that we would give Mike time for a rebuttal, and that time is now.
We do that before the gifts?
Yeah. Sure.
We may not want to give them to him afterwards.
Whatever. Gary, stand up wherever you are. Mr. Jordan, please. Mr. Jordan, Mr. Dam, Mr. Jordan. Lose my number. His is the one that you call now. This is my last official act. He needs DVDs of that. If that is the Addy Awards, I will take a copy of it. Otherwise, whatever. First of all, let me say thank you to all of you all for coming this afternoon, and for those who couldn't stay. I very much appreciate it. This is retirements are a long time coming for all of us. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, as I have gone through and have been sitting at home and bugging my wife already to death, so we're already trying to revise plans so that I'm not around as much. I've had a chance to go back and think about a lot of the stuff that we have done together, all of us. And I think that of all of that, the most important piece is that we did it together. There was much to do. I mean, I can think all the way back to 1981, where Patrick, when I came in the door, Patrick was more than happy to flick a booger off his finger called primetime. And all of a sudden, there I was, 5 days a week at 7:30. Yeah, it came with Jordan. It came with Rickley. It came with many, many other people who later on became very fast friends, who I have as friends to this day. But 5 days a week, live, tripwire without a net, trying to make television for Tallahassee. And then we got lucky enough and moved into this building, where we were doing auctions, and water was seeping under the floor during one auction, and doing all kinds of other programs, live at noon, live at 7, live whenever, wherever, however, because the idea of our boss at the time was live television is where it's at, and that's what we're going to do. And so we got pretty good at it. All of the people who were in this room, who were there at those times, know that we did a lot of stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Then we went on and made our foray into national television with Body Electric. I don't know if Beth is still here or not. If she is, she may want to be warned if she goes to Washington, D.C., and turns on Howard University Public Television in the mornings. She's liable to see herself from back in the Body Electric days because the program still runs in Washington, D.C. And I have visual proof of a picture that a friend of mine took and set on his Facebook page. WHUT, Howard University Television, Body Electric. So we went on from that, and then at some point along the way, things started to happen, and it felt like it was time for a change. I was following in the footsteps of my mentor, my friend. However, I did not want to go to the dark side of the force at Comcast Cable. So I decided to go out and try it all on my own. So after 5 or 6 years of bouncing around, doing various things, having a good time, moving around the world, almost literally. I mean, 1 year I was in Germany, I was in England, and I was in Korea. At some point there, it must have been somewhere in about boxing match 330 of 352 at the 96 Olympics that I said, you know, there's got to be something else to do besides 352 boxing matches, of which none of them were knockouts except the first one and the last one. So we were there for the whole thing, all 2 weeks worth. But doing that and spending, you know, half of my life in the Atlanta airport was starting to get old, and this was in the days before September 11th. When actually air travel was actually kind of fun and everybody thought it was good to be a Sky Club member and have a bazillion miles and all the rest of it. It's not. And at some point after the 96 Olympics, my friend and my mentor came back with a phone call one day and said, hey, I got this great gig. I managed to work myself back into WFSU. You want to join me? And it didn't take too long to decide, yeah, it was time to come back. It was time to come back and try this again and see if we could make a difference in public television in Tallahassee and in Panama City and in the rest of it. And for that, I will be forever thankful because it made a good life even better. Along the way, there have been some bumps. You know, all of us in this room, we have laughed together, we have cried together, we have grieved together over friends who can't be with us today. We have worked together, we have played together, and we have all become family together. And for that, I am most appreciative. My wife became a part of this family along the way. When I married her in 1987, we had our daughter in 1992. She learned to count frontwards watching Sesame Street. She learned to count backwards sitting on my knee as we were counting down to Florida lottery drawings many nights. And my wife actually became a member of the production crew for the lottery as well, because many times, unfortunately, I had to have all of my phone numbers all over the state of Florida to master controls. In fact, some of them may still be up on walls in master controls in some places, particularly the Univision station in Miami, which seemed to always have a hard time either understanding the script and the dialogue and reading the numbers on the screen, or just flat out missed it. So on Saturday nights, with, you know, thousands of people who were watching the Univision feed of the lottery, which may or may not have made it, I don't know if it ever got on the air or not, but they would always call one of the numbers to find out what that night's lotto numbers were. The first number on the list was my home number. And this was at 11:10, 11:15 on Saturday nights. And my wife got very, very good at picking her owed 42 numbers out of the air and reading them off to the master control operator at Univision. They never complained. I don't know if anybody won, But hey, they got 6 numbers and put them on the air. Who knew? Lottery was an interesting time. The PBS productions that we were able to do besides Body Electric, when we put together Peanuts Gallery and got it on in 90% of the country, I was thrilled at the accomplishment, thrilled for the crew and all of the people who helped us do that, thrilled for the university that it got them some much-deserved publicity for the College of Music, and it was a program that was a good program. If I can look back on all of it, I think that probably the best part of the whole thing was making television. Some of it was like making sausage. It wasn't very pretty. A lot of it was pretty ugly. But somehow we managed to persevere. And whether it was a state funeral followed up almost the next day by inauguration, a presidential search with all of the attendant demonstrations and hoorah that was going on, multiple coaches shows here, and all kinds of other stuff that happened in this room and in the room next door. I have always felt very blessed and very privileged to be a part of that with all of you. And if all of those things, playing, eating, dining, working, grieving, laughing, are what makes up a family, then I am especially blessed that you have all become part of our family. And I hope that you will remain that way. Thanks.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I won't.
Don't go anywhere.
I won't.
See, I always thought the reason that he came back here was after we did the March of Dimes telethon in the French Quarter with the 15 back-to-back Michael Jackson impressionists. Painful. I have an update. Yes. Someone named Patricia Moynihan, who oddly enough is in this room.
It's the new generation.
Yes,
they can't
I know.
watch it live.
She's not even looking. She's looking down at
yeah.
something. She says you're awesome, and that's true. So, okay. Now, I think we have some presentations to make.
All right, this is my favorite part, the presents.
Oh, boy.
We have some traditional presents that we give out to a lot of the people who leave here.
Yeah.
And we wanted to start with those.
Yeah, every student that comes through here, or every part-timer or anybody that works here, when they leave, you give them a coffee mug, a WFSU mug. So, I wanted to get you a WFSU mug, and luckily Eric, my wife, Stephanie, she works next door to a gentleman, Eric Smith, who used to work here, and he was kind enough to give me a gift, and I would like to re-gift it to you. So, let's grab it. Now, some people think it's beautiful. I'm not particularly fond of it, but here is your 1980s WFSU premium mug.
Yep, I remember these.
There you go. And
This will complete our set at home.
yep. Of course, courtesy of Captain Kangaroo for you. I found a nice photo in our archive.
That's good.
You don't have that one yet, do you?
No, I do not have
Oh,
it.
okay, good, excellent. All right.
Thank you.
And we've, of course, go ahead.
And then, of course, we have the traditional WFSU shopping bag, which is another thing that we always give. And you may need that for the other items that we're going to be giving you.
Yeah. So
Jane,
you're
this
gonna
one's
need
for you, because I know you will fill this up on an almost daily basis.
Yeah, don't be like me. On Monday, Tony and I went to buy production supplies, and I brought bags with me to be, to go green. Forgot them in the van. I got all these plastic bags, so you bring them in with you. So we got some more. One of the things we did, we commissioned one of our resident artists, Mr. Lydell Rawls, and I had him do a little drawing for you. There you go. And
Lydell, thank you.
Now, what I think is pretty incredible is that was done in Microsoft Paint, that most basic paint program. He's very good. I've seen a lot of artwork he's done, so I think it's a pretty good likeness. And then we have some other stuff.
We also, some people have sent some letters and cards and stuff to you, and there's some people who've dropped them off here. So I'm going to give you these. I think there's some other people who will be giving you gifts throughout the evening, but I wanted to give you those.
Okay. All right.
And then we talked with Jane about what your plans were when you leave here. And we understand that you want to go on a lot of adventures, some of which will be on the water, that you're talking about getting a kayak and doing a lot more adventures. And we have a lovely picture, I don't know if you could see that, but it's you on a kayak going over a waterfall. So
Strap in? No.
Yes.
Just fall out?
You're strapped in. You're in the kayak. You're in the kayak there. You're in the kayak. But we wanted to give you some gifts that will help you on these adventures. And so we have a table of stuff that will, various things, and each one has a little reason with it. First, we got you a Postcards from the Road t-shirt.
Now, he was trying to get rid, when he's clearing out his office, he's trying to give these things away. We had to.
Trish, there's a box with about 10 of these back here. You're
Yeah.
welcome to take home about. Well, there you go. All right, they have the box hidden somewhere.
And we figured your adventures are just beginning, so you need a shirt like that.
Okay.
And then we got you a variety of other stuff.
Here, why don't you talk and I'll hand it to him.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
Okay. So this one it's a bunch of dry pouches, which, because things get really, really wet on kayaking trips.
Particularly when you turn them over.
Yes.
Like I will.
So that's important. And then we've also got you a box of Ziploc bags, because apparently things really get wet.
Okay.
And so those are two things there.
Okay.
Speaking of what,
And when you get your kayak, we thought that you're always prepared, so we thought we'd get you an instant leak repair patch.
Okay.
Yes. And then we thought about getting you a gold watch, but then we decided that a compass would be much better, because you don't have to worry about deadlines anymore.
Okay.
And that one also will remind you of Dimensions, because we know you love that show and we'll miss it deeply.
Understand. Okay.
Also on your adventures, we got you a snake bite kit, because not everyone is as nice as we are. And and nothing is complete without a water bottle, so we got you a Psy Girls water bottle, because I know it's fancy, these things go, top drawer. And then some insect repellent, so nothing bugs you as you go into retirement.
he won't.
Now, this is my favorite item. We got you a watertight smartphone case, because even though you say that you're getting rid of your phone, we know the truth, and you will not be getting rid of your phone. Plus, we have Jane's number, and she said she'd give us your new one.
Great.
We got you a first aid kit, because accidents happen, and we want you to stay safe.
Okay.
And some sunscreen, because we know there are a lot of sunny days in your future.
Okay.
And a WFSU sunglasses lanyard, because it says WFSU, and you can never have too many things that say WFSU.
That's true. Okay.
Now, there's one other thing that we got you. And because the university and the state will not allow us to buy gift cards for you, we are giving you a certificate of a gift that will contribute toward a gift that you choose yourself. This is a certificate, basically, that we've made up that says we will contribute $350 to your kayak purchase once you choose that. Unless you want someone to go with you when you purchase it, you'll have to turn in a receipt.
I see how this. Yeah, I see how this story's going. Okay.
Or we can hire you as an administrative assistant, consultant.
And we also, some people have contributed some cash also to that as well, and a card that pretty much I think everybody here has signed, and then some. So we will miss you, and we hope you have wonderful, wonderful adventures. Oh, and I think there's another little gift from someone in the audience here.
Someone little?
Little.
Thank you very, very much, sir. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Good. I can use it. I have not gotten like some of the other people in this room. There's still some up there, but the hat will help. Great. Thank you all very, very much.
I do have one last update. Jan Rogers says that mug is his from the 1986 auction, and he would like it back. So, what else do we have? Oh, no, we just never gave it to you. We meant to. Our intentions were good. Okay, yeah, exactly. Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you,
you all.
Mike, for everything.
Thank you.
And there's cake. Oh, there's cake. There's cake. Get some cake.